August 4th, 1944, 0320 hours, RAF Fursfield, England. Lieutenant Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr. climbs into a B-17 Flying Fortress loaded with 21,000 pounds of Torpex explosives, enough to level 12 city blocks. In 6 hours, he will be dead. Not from enemy fire, not from mechanical failure, from a decision he makes in 8 minutes when the voltage starts to fluctuate and he chooses to continue the mission anyway. The airplane smells wrong, gasoline mixed with something chemical and sweet that burns the back of your throat. Torpex, the most powerful explosive the Allies have ever created, 50% more destructive than TNT, so unstable that transporting it requires special pneumatic trucks. One hard bump and the payload detonates. Kennedy knows this because he watched the ground crew spend 6 hours loading it yesterday. 6 hours of men moving in slow motion, speaking in whispers, every box handled like it contains the heart of God. The B-17 has been gutted. No machine guns, no bomb bay, no defensive armament. Everything removable has been removed to make space for 374 boxes of explosives stacked floor to ceiling in the fuselage, a flying bomb with wings. Kennedy walks through the cargo area doing his pre-flight check. He touches one of the crates. Cold. His hand comes away damp, condensation from the English rain, or something else. He does not look closely. Lieutenant Wilford Willey, the co-pilot, stands beside the aircraft holding a photograph. His 3-month-old daughter. He has never met her. She was born while he was flying combat missions over France. Dark hair like her mother. Willey shows Kennedy the photo every morning. Today, Kennedy actually looks at it. "You volunteered because I did," Kennedy says. Willey nods. If the ambassador's son thinks this mission is worth dying for, it must be important. Kennedy does not correct him. That would require admitting the truth. He volunteered because his younger brother Jack served on a PT boat in the Pacific while Kennedy was flying milk runs over Europe, because their father, Joseph Sr., used his influence to keep Jack away from Normandy on D-Day, because Kennedy is 29 years old and still competing with a younger brother for their father's approval. This mission is not about stopping Hitler, it is about proving something nobody asked him to prove. Willey folds the photograph back into his jacket pocket. The mission is worth it, right? Kennedy lies. Absolutely. 400 yards away, inside a briefing room lit by a single bulb, Commander James Smith stands in front of 12 pilots. Smith is 38 years old. He has gray hair and a facial tic that makes his left eye twitch when he is nervous. The tic is constant now. "Gentlemen, this briefing is classified. What I am about to tell you cannot leave this room. Operation Aphrodite has already killed 3 crews in testing. You will be flying missions 4 through 7. Statistically, one of you will not survive. Volunteers only. If you want to leave, leave now. Nobody moves. Nobody ever moves." Smith pulls down a map of France. Mimoyek, a village 105 miles from London. The Germans have built a concrete fortress there, walls 16 feet thick, steel reinforced. They call it the V3 Supergun, a cannon that fires shells directly into London, 150 rounds per hour. If it becomes operational, London burns in a week. The Royal Air Force tried to destroy it. 8 Lancaster bombers, 12,000-pound tallboy bombs, 7 planes shot down. The bunker took no damage. The 8th Air Force tried next. 47 B-17s, 77 men dead. Not a single bomb penetrated the concrete. Conventional weapons cannot stop this target. A captain in the back raises his hand. "What can stop it?" Smith points to the window. "That B-17 on the runway. We pack it with 10 tons of Torpex." The pilot flies it close to the target, activates the radio control system, and bails out. A mothership takes over and guides the plane directly into the bunker. Impact velocity 200 miles per hour. The explosion will be visible from London. Another pilot asks the question everyone is thinking. What if the radio fails? Then you ride the plane into the target manually. The room goes silent. Manual impact means staying in the cockpit. Staying in the cockpit means dying in a fireball that vaporizes everything within a quarter mile. Smith lets the silence hold for 5 seconds. Then he continues. The arming circuit activates the moment you flip the switch in the cockpit. You will have 8 minutes between arming and bailout. That is your survival window. If anything generates an electrical charge during those 8 minutes, static electricity, a loose wire, a radio signal on the wrong frequency, the Torpex detonates. You die instantly. Your co-pilot dies instantly. Everyone within 1,000 feet dies instantly. How many test flights succeeded? Someone asks. 14 flights total, 9 successful, 5 failures. What caused the failures? Smith's eye twitches. We do not know. Kennedy raises his hand. He does not ask a question. He simply says, I am flying Mission 4. Willie raises his hand next. I am co-pilot. Smith nods. Mission brief complete. Take off at 0600 hours. Dismissed. The pilots file out. Kennedy stays behind. Smith is rolling up the map when Kennedy approaches. Commander, what are the actual survival odds? Smith stops. He looks at Kennedy. Really looks at him. 60% of pilots bail out successfully. 40% do not. The ones who do not bail out either experience radio failure, electrical malfunction, or pilot error. The investigation reports do not specify which. They cannot specify which. There is nothing left to investigate. Kennedy absorbs this. 60%. If everything works perfectly, yes. And if it does not work perfectly, Smith finishes rolling the map. Then you have 8 minutes to decide whether dying for your country is the same thing as dying for your pride. Most men cannot tell the difference until it is too late. Kennedy walks out. At 05:45 hours, the ground crew finishes the final pre-flight checks. Staff Sergeant Frank Houston, the chief mechanic, approaches Kennedy with a clipboard. Sir, I need you to sign off on the electrical system. The arming circuit tested fine yesterday, but when we ran the engines this morning, the voltage fluctuated. Just a few volts, still within acceptable parameters. I wanted you to know. Kennedy takes the clipboard. He does not read it. He signs. Anything else? Houston hesitates. He is 42 years old. He has 3 kids back in Ohio. He has seen 18 planes explode on the runway due to electrical malfunctions. He knows what Kennedy does not know, that acceptable parameters means nothing when you are sitting on 10 tons of Torpex. Sir, if you see voltage irregularities, shut down the arming circuit immediately. Kennedy hands back the clipboard. We will be fine, Sergeant. Houston watches Kennedy walk toward the plane. He does not think Kennedy will be fine, but nobody ever thinks they will be the statistic until they are. At 05:58 hours, Kennedy and Willie climb into the cockpit. The instrument panel glows green in the pre-dawn darkness. Kennedy straps into the pilot seat. Willie straps into the co-pilot seat. They run through the checklist. Fuel pressure, check. Hydraulics, check. Electrical systems, check. Radio contact, check. Autopilot, check. Kennedy's hand hovers over the arming circuit, a red switch under a clear plastic safety cover. He does not flip it yet. Tower control crackles through the radio. Zoot suit black. You are cleared for takeoff. Zoot suit black. That is their call sign. Someone in command has a sense of humor or a death wish. Kennedy cannot tell which. Roger, tower. Zoot suit black is rolling. Kennedy pushes the throttles forward. 4 Wright Cyclone engines roar, 1,800 horsepower each. The B-17 shudders under the weight of the Torpex. It feels wrong, too heavy, too slow. Kennedy releases the brakes. The bomber crawls forward, 50 miles per hour, 60, 70. The runway is running out. Kennedy pulls back on the yoke. The nose lifts. The wheels leave the ground. The plane climbs. Behind them, the mothership takes off. A modified B-17 with radio control equipment and a television camera mounted in the nose. The crew watches Kennedy's plane through a grainy black and white video feed, the first live combat video transmission in history. They can see the tail section, the wings, the exhaust from the engines. If Kennedy's plane explodes, they will see it happen in real time. Kennedy flies east toward the English Channel. The weather is bad, low clouds, rain, visibility under 2 miles. At 06:01 hours, Kennedy reaches the channel. He is supposed to maintain 2,000 feet altitude, but the cloud cover is too low. He descends to 1,500 feet. At 06:20 hours, Kennedy makes the call. Mothership, Zoot Suit Black. Beginning arming sequence. Roger, Zoot Suit. Proceed. Kennedy flips the safety cover. The red switch underneath glows in the darkness. He looks at Willie. Willie's hands are shaking. Not much. Just enough to notice. Ready? Kennedy asks. No, Willie says. But do it anyway. Kennedy flips the switch. A small red light on the instrument panel illuminates. Armed. Nothing explodes. Kennedy exhales. He had been holding his breath. The plan is simple now. Fly for 8 more minutes. Activate the autopilot. Bail out over the channel. A patrol boat is waiting below. The mothership takes control. The flying bomb hits the target. Mission complete, except the voltage gauge is moving. Not much, just a few volts, oscillating between 42 and 45. It should be steady. Kennedy keys the radio. Mothership, we have a voltage irregularity in the arming circuit. Minor fluctuation, 3 volts. There is a pause. Then, zoot zoot, what is your current reading? 42 to 45 volts. Oscillating, another pause. You are within acceptable parameters. Continue the mission. Kennedy looks at Willie. Willie is staring at the gauge. His face is pale. Acceptable parameters, Willie says quietly. That is what they told the last crew. Kennedy does not respond. At 0626 hours, he activates the autopilot. The control yoke moves by itself. The plane is flying on its own. Kennedy and Willie are passengers now. They have 2 minutes to reach the escape hatch. 2 minutes to jump into the cold gray water below. Kennedy unbuckles his harness. He stands. He moves toward the back of the cockpit where the escape hatch is located. Willie is right behind him. Kennedy grabs the handle, turns it. The hatch opens. Wind screams into the cockpit. The temperature drops 20 degrees instantly. Below them, the English Channel. Gray water, white caps. Cold enough to kill in 15 minutes. But there is the patrol boat. A small shape on the surface. That is survival. Kennedy looks back at Willie. He shouts over the wind. On 3. 1, 2. The B-17 explodes. The B-17 does not explode. It vaporizes. 1 second there is an airplane. The next second there is a white hot sphere expanding faster than sound. The blast travels 8 miles in 6 seconds. In the village of Nude Light Wood, a farmer named Thomas Crane is milking his cow when every window in his house shatters simultaneously. The cow collapses, dead from the pressure wave alone. Crane's ears are bleeding. He will never hear properly again. In the church, Father Michael O'Brien is preparing for morning mass. The explosion hits. The stone walls shake. The stained glass windows depicting Christ on the cross blow inward. Colored shards scatter across the pews like jewels. O'Brien drops to his knees. He thinks it is the end of the world. It is not the world ending. It is just 2 men ceasing to exist. Commander James Smith watches through the television camera in the mothership as the video feed cuts to static. One frame shows Kennedy's B-17. The next frame is white noise. Smith keys the radio. Zoot Suit Black, respond. Static. Zoot Suit Black, do you copy? Nothing. His radio operator is 22 years old. This is his first combat mission. He is staring at the static on the screen. Tears are running down his face. He is not making any sound, just crying silently while the white noise fills the cockpit. Smith turns off the radio. He looks at his co-pilot, Lieutenant Davis. Davis flew bombers over Germany for 2 years. He has seen men burn alive in their planes. He has watched friends spiral into the Atlantic with engines on fire, but he has never seen men simply disappear from existence. His hands are shaking on the control yoke. "Take us home," Smith says. "What do we tell command?" Smith stares out the window at the empty sky. "We tell them Kennedy is dead. We tell them Willie is dead. We tell them Operation Aphrodite just became a program with a 43% mortality rate. And we tell them we are canceling the other 3 missions scheduled for today because I will not send more men into flying bombs." Davis nods. He banks the mothership toward England. Neither man speaks for the rest of the flight. Below them, on the patrol boat, Seaman First Class Robert Hayes lowers his binoculars. He watched it happen. He saw the B-17. He saw the flash. He saw the debris cloud spread across 2 square miles of English countryside. His commanding officer, Lieutenant Commander Paul Grayson, is standing next to him. Did they bail out? Hayes shakes his head. No, sir. No parachutes. The plane detonated before they could jump. Grayson picks up the radio. His voice is steady. "Professional. This is Rescue Boat 17. Negative visual on personnel bailout. We are observing catastrophic explosion at grid coordinates Delta 7. Estimated time of detonation 0630 hours. No survivors." The radio crackles. "Rescue Boat 17. Can you confirm explosion origin?" Grayson looks at Hayes. Hayes is still staring at the debris falling into the channel. Grayson keys the mic again. Confirmed. Explosion originated from the aircraft, not enemy action. The B-17 detonated mid-flight. Cause unknown. Understood. Return to base. The patrol boat turns around. Hayes watches debris continue to fall. Pieces of aluminum, fragments of steel, nothing larger than a suitcase. A sailor standing next to him lights a cigarette with shaking hands. Another one crosses himself and whispers a prayer in Italian. Hayes keeps the binoculars raised until there is nothing left to see except smoke drifting over gray water. At RAF Fursfield, Staff Sergeant Frank Houston is drinking coffee in the maintenance hangar when the explosion report comes through the base radio. He drops the cup. It shatters on concrete. Coffee spreads across the floor in a dark pool. The other mechanics stop working. Someone turns up the volume. The announcer's voice is flat. Mission 4 of Operation Aphrodite has experienced catastrophic failure. 2 casualties: Lieutenant Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr., Lieutenant Wilford John Willie. No further missions will proceed today pending investigation. Houston sits down on a toolbox. His hands are shaking. He is the one who signed off on the electrical system yesterday morning. He is the one who told Kennedy the voltage fluctuations were within acceptable parameters. He knew they were not acceptable. He knew that arming 10 tons of Torpex with an unstable circuit was insane. But Kennedy was the ambassador's son, and Houston was a staff sergeant from Ohio who fixed engines and followed orders, so he signed the form. A corporal approaches. "Sarge, command wants us to prepare the next aircraft for tomorrow." Houston does not look up. He is staring at the coffee spreading across the floor. The corporal repeats himself. Houston finally raises his head. "No." "Sir?" "I said no. I am not preparing another plane. I am not signing off on another electrical system. I am done killing pilots." The corporal blinks. "Sarge, that is insubordination." Houston stands. He walks past the corporal. He walks out of the hangar into the morning sun. He does not look back. Behind him, the corporal is shouting something about courts-martial and regulations. Houston keeps walking. He walks until he reaches the perimeter fence. Then he sits down in the grass and cries for the first time since his father died when he was 12 years old. 300 miles away, at the Sperry Gyroscope Company facility in Long Island, engineer Malcolm Reed receives a telegram at 800 hours. 3 sentences. Operation Aphrodite Mission 4, catastrophic failure. 2 fatalities. Preliminary investigation suggests electrical malfunction in arming circuit. Reed crumples the telegram. He throws it in the trash. Then he pulls it back out. He smooths it flat on his desk. He opens his filing cabinet. Inside is a folder labeled Aphrodite Safety Concerns. 47 pages of documentation, test results, voltage measurements, failure probability calculations, every warning he submitted to the Navy over 6 months. Every concern they stamped, classified, and ignored. His assistant Dorothy knocks on the door. "Mr. Reed, the Navy is on the phone. They want to know if we can have a replacement control system ready by tomorrow morning." Reed picks up the phone. "This is Malcolm Reed. I will not build another control system." There is a pause on the other end. Then a voice. Colonel Hartman speaking. "Mr. Reed, you do not have the authority to refuse a military order." Reed looks at the photograph on his desk. His younger brother in uniform, killed at Omaha Beach on D-Day. "Colonel, I warned you 3 months ago." 47 pages. You ignored every word. And now Kennedy is dead. So here is what happens next. You find someone else to build your death traps, because I am done watching men die in planes I designed. He hangs up. Dorothy is staring at him. "Sir, they are going to fire you." Reed opens the folder. He reads the first page. A memo he sent to Naval Command in March detailing electromagnetic interference risks. Probability of premature detonation estimated at 38% when operating within 10 miles of active radar installations. The memo is stamped received and filed. Nobody ever responded. "Let them fire me," Reed says. In Washington, D.C., Admiral Ernest King receives the explosion report at 09:45 hours. He reads it twice. Then he picks up the phone. "Get me Doolittle." 5 minutes later, General James Doolittle's voice comes through. "Ernest, we lost Kennedy." Silence. Then, "How?" "Electrical malfunction. The plane detonated 8 minutes after he armed the circuit. Exactly what our engineers said would happen." More silence. King can hear Doolittle breathing. Finally, Doolittle speaks. Cancel the remaining missions. Jim, we need to destroy that bunker. The V3 is operational next week. London will be in range. Doolittle's voice goes cold. Ernest, Joseph Kennedy Sr. is going to tear this program apart. When he finds out we killed his son with equipment our own engineers said was unsafe, he will destroy both of us. Cancel the missions. Shut down Aphrodite. Find another way. King looks at the map on his wall, pins marking Aphrodite targets. What is the other way, Jim? The same way we have been doing it for 3 years. Send 50 B-17s, lose 10 planes, lose 70 men, but at least they have guns to defend themselves. At least they have a chance. King closes his eyes. All right, draft the order. Operation Aphrodite is suspended indefinitely. All missions canceled. He hangs up. He opens his desk drawer. Inside is a bottle of bourbon. He pours a glass. He drinks it standing at the window. Outside, Washington is bright, sunny. People walk to work, buy newspapers, drink coffee. They have no idea that a man just died attacking a target that will turn out to be useless. King pours another glass and another. By 1100 hours, the bottle is half empty. By noon, a courier arrives with a classified report. King opens it. The report is from British intelligence. Subject, German V3 installation at Mimoyek. The report is 4 pages long. King reads the first paragraph 3 times to make sure he understands. Allied ground forces captured the Mimoyek's bunker on August 2, 1944, 2 days before Kennedy's mission. The bunker was found intact but incomplete. Construction had been abandoned in May due to material shortages. The V3 weapon system was 62% complete and incapable of firing. German engineers had already evacuated the site. The installation posed zero threat to London at time of Allied bombing campaigns. King sets the report down. He pours another glass of bourbon. He drinks it. Then he picks up the phone. Get me the Kennedy residence. 20 minutes later, a telegram arrives at the Kennedy family home in Hyannisport, Massachusetts. Joseph Kennedy Sr. opens the door. A young man in a Western Union uniform hands him the envelope. Kennedy tears it open. He reads 3 sentences. The Secretary of the Navy regrets to inform you that your son, Lieutenant Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr., was killed in action on August 4, 1944, during a classified mission over the English Channel. Your son died serving his country with honor and distinction. Further details will be provided when security classifications permit. Kennedy reads it 3 times. Then he walks to his study. He closes the door. His wife, Rose, is in the kitchen. She hears something through the walls, a sound she has not heard in 30 years of marriage. Her husband crying. She does not go to him. She sits at the kitchen table. She folds her hands. She prays. In the study, Joseph Kennedy Sr. sits at his desk holding the telegram. His oldest son is dead, the son he groomed to be president, the son who was supposed to carry the family name into history, dead at 29 in an airplane packed with explosives. He does not know yet that the mission was pointless. He does not know that the target was already abandoned. He does not know that his son died for nothing. He will learn this later, in 6 months, when the files are declassified. And when he learns it, he will spend the rest of his life trying to bury the truth, because some truths are too cruel to bear. August 6, 1944, 1400 hours, Naval Investigative Services, Washington, D.C. Captain Theodore Bright sits across a steel table from Lieutenant Commander Paul Grayson. Between them is a tape recorder. Its reels turn slowly. Bright is 47 years old. He has investigated 12 aircraft accidents this year. None of them looked like this. Walk me through what you saw. Grayson has not slept in 36 hours. His eyes are bloodshot. We were positioned at rescue coordinates Delta 7, 8 miles from the explosion point. Visibility 2 miles. We had visual on the B-17 at 0628 hours, flying straight and level, 1,500 feet. No smoke, no visible damage. When did it detonate? 0630. 8 minutes after the pilot armed the explosives. Describe what you saw. Grayson closes his eyes. The aircraft did not burn. It vaporized. There was a flash. White, brighter than the sun. The shockwave hit us 6 seconds later, knocked 2 men off their feet. We were 8 miles away. Did the pilots bail out? No. No parachutes. Could they have bailed out? Grayson opens his eyes. No. The explosion was instantaneous. They did not have time. Bright turns off the recorder. Off the record. What do you think happened? Grayson leans forward. Off the record. Everyone knew that arming circuit was unstable. The engineers knew. The mechanics knew. Hell, the pilots probably knew, but someone decided the mission was more important than the risk, so they sent Kennedy up in a flying bomb and hoped for the best. Bright turns the recorder back on. Thank you, Commander. 3 doors down, Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Webb is interviewing Staff Sergeant Frank Houston. Houston has been awake for 2 days. He refused to leave the base. Military police found him sitting by the perimeter fence, staring at nothing. Sergeant, did you sign off on the electrical inspection for Mission 4? Yes, sir. Were you aware of voltage irregularities? Yes, sir. I told Kennedy there were fluctuations. 3 volts. I said it was within spec. Was it? Houston stares at the table. Technically, yes, but I knew it was dangerous. I knew arming Torpex with that circuit was insane. But Kennedy was the ambassador's son, and I was a sergeant who fixes engines. So I signed the form. Are you saying you felt pressured? Houston laughs. It is not a happy sound. Nobody held a gun to my head. But when command already approved the mission, what was I supposed to do? Tell the ambassador's kid his plane might explode. I am a mechanic. I follow orders. And now 2 men are dead because I did my job. Sergeant, sit down. Houston realizes he is standing. He sits. His hands are shaking. At MIT, physicist Harold Miller is presenting findings to a review board. 3 Navy officers sit behind a table. Miller has been talking for 20 minutes. They look bored. In conclusion, the probability of electromagnetic interference causing premature detonation was 38% when operating near radar installations. The British station at Nude-Light Wood transmitted at 42 megahertz. Our arming circuit operated at 45. The overlap destabilized the system. This was not an accident. It was predictable. Captain Reynolds raises his hand. Are you blaming British radar? No. I am saying proximity to radar amplified existing vulnerabilities in an already unstable system. Captain Thomas leans forward. Gray hair, tired eyes. Professor, did you submit these findings before Mission 4? March. 20 pages. It was classified and filed. Filed, not acted upon. Miller sets down his chalk. Captain, I provide analysis. You decide what to do with it. I warned you the system was dangerous. You proceeded anyway. Thomas's voice hardens. Professor, we have 16 modified B-17s, $300,000 each, 6 months of engineering per aircraft. Are you asking us to scrap the program based on theoretical calculations? Miller looks at the equations covering his blackboard. Captain, 2 men died. That is empirical data. The system failed exactly as predicted. If you continue missions, more men will die. That is not theory. That is certainty. Silence. Reynolds clears his throat. Thank you, Professor. We will take your testimony under advisement. Miller walks out. In the hallway, a young lieutenant stops him. Professor, can I ask something? What? If you knew it would fail, why did you build it? Miller studies the lieutenant. Maybe 23, fresh from the academy. Still thinks wars are won by heroes. Because I am a scientist. I build things. What the military does with them is not my responsibility, or that is what I told myself until Kennedy died. He walks away. At Sperry Gyroscope Company, Malcolm Reed is packing his desk. Fired yesterday. Insubordination, refusal to follow orders. He does not care. He packs 47 pages of safety reports into a cardboard box. He is taking them with him. His colleague, Daniel Foster, approaches. Malcolm, I heard. I am sorry. Do not be sorry. Be angry. Foster lowers his voice. You cannot blame yourself. Kennedy knew the risks. Reed stops packing. Did he? Did anyone tell him the circuit had a 38% failure rate? Did anyone tell him we warned the Navy 3 months ago? Did anyone tell him every engineer said the system was not ready? That information was classified. We could not tell him. Reed picks up the box. That is the problem. We classified the truth. We told pilots the system was safe. We lied. Kennedy is dead. And you want me to not blame myself? He walks out. In Brooklyn, Martha Willie sits on her couch holding her 3-month-old daughter. The baby sleeps. Martha does not. She has not slept since the telegram arrived. Lieutenant Wilford John Willie was killed in action August 4, 1944, during a classified mission. Your husband died with honor. Knock at the door. Martha does not move. The knock repeats. Finally, she opens it. A Navy chaplain, young, nervous. Mrs. Willie, I am Chaplain Roberts. I wanted to offer condolences. Martha stares. She does not invite him in. I know this is difficult, but your husband died a hero. He volunteered. He knew the risks. Martha's voice is flat. He volunteered because Kennedy volunteered. He thought if the ambassador's son was dying, it must be important. Mrs. Willie, the mission was important. Was it? Important enough to send him in an unsafe plane? Important enough to lie about the risks? Mrs. Willie, the Navy does not send men into danger without precautions. Martha laughs. Hollow. My husband is dead, and you are telling me it was important. Get out. The chaplain leaves. Martha closes the door, sits. Her daughter stirs. Martha rocks her. No tears. She has none left. At Naval Headquarters, Admiral King receives the preliminary report. He reads it twice, calls his aide. Get me the secretary. Secretary Forrestal's voice comes through 10 minutes later. Ernest, I heard about the investigation. Jim, we need to shut down Aphrodite permanently. Pause. Ernest, we have 16 aircraft. Targets across Europe conventional bombing cannot reach. We cannot abandon the program. The system does not work. Engineers were right. We are sending men into bombs. Forrestal's voice goes cold. Joseph Kennedy Sr. is one of the most powerful men in America. If he learns we sent his son on a suicide mission with defective equipment, he will destroy us. We classify the investigation, we file official cause as equipment malfunction, and we quietly mothball the aircraft. So we lie. We protect the program. We protect the Navy. King hangs up, opens his drawer, bourbon, pours, drinks, then picks up his pen, begins the official report. Equipment malfunction, accidental detonation, no fault assigned. The words taste like ash, but he writes them because that is what admirals do. They send men to die, then write reports that make it sound heroic. August 9th, 1944, 14:30 hours. London. Captain Ian Fletcher of British intelligence sits in a windowless basement office sorting through reconnaissance photographs, aerial shots of France, hundreds of them. He is looking for damage assessment from recent bombing raids. His assistant, Lieutenant Sarah Hayes, walks in carrying a folder stamped Most Secret. Sir, you need to see this. Fletcher looks up. What is it? Hayes places the folder on his desk. It is the Mimoyek file, the V3 bunker. Fletcher opens it. Inside are photographs taken by Allied ground forces who captured the site on August 2nd, 6 days ago. He studies the images. The bunker is intact, undamaged, but something is wrong. The structure looks incomplete. He picks up a magnifying glass. Hayes points to one photograph. Sir, look at the construction staging. Those timbers have moss growing on them. And here, this section of the concrete shows weathering. At least 3 months of weathering. Fletcher sets down the magnifying glass. When did the Germans abandon this site? Hayes hands him another document. According to French resistance reports, construction stopped in May. Material shortages. Labor was redirected to Atlantic Wall fortifications. The site has been empty since June. Fletcher reads the report twice. The V3 weapon system was 62% complete, incapable of firing. 0 operational status. 0 threat to London. He looks at the date on the document. August 2nd, the Americans flew their mission on August 4th, 2 days after Allied forces already controlled the site. Sir, should we inform the Americans? Fletcher closes the folder. He reaches for his telephone, then stops. He looks at Hayes. Lieutenant, how many men did the Americans lose on that mission? Hayes checks her notes. 2 casualties, Lieutenant Kennedy and Lieutenant Willie. Fletcher puts the folder in his desk drawer. He locks it. Do not mention this to anyone. That is an order. But sir, they died attacking an empty bunker. I know what they died attacking, but if this information becomes public, it will destroy Allied cooperation. The Americans will blame us for poor intelligence. We will blame them for poor mission planning. And 2 dead pilots will become a political scandal instead of war heroes. File the report. Mark it classified. We will deal with this after the war. Hayes hesitates. Yes, sir. She leaves. Fletcher sits alone. He opens his desk drawer, looks at the folder, then closes it again. He picks up his pen, begins writing his daily intelligence summary. Under the section marked Mimoyeks, he writes, Site captured, minimal resistance. Strategic value confirmed. He does not mention the construction status. He does not mention the timeline. Some truths, he decides, are too dangerous to tell. August 10, 1944, Kennedy Estate, Hyannisport, Massachusetts. A black car pulls up the gravel driveway. Joseph Kennedy Sr. is in his study when he hears the engine. He knows what it means before the knock on the door. His daughter Kathleen is in the hallway. She watches through the door as their butler answers. A Navy officer, young, nervous, holding an envelope. Kathleen moves to the study door. Listens. Mr. Kennedy, I regret to inform you that your son, Lieutenant Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr., was killed in action on August 4th during a classified military operation. The Secretary of the Navy extends his deepest condolences. Your son died serving his country with honor and courage. Joseph Sr. does not move. His face is stone. How did he die? The officer shifts his weight. I am not authorized to provide operational details, sir. The mission remains classified. Was it enemy action? The officer opens his mouth, closes it. No, sir. It was not enemy action. Then what was it? Sir, I cannot discuss classified operations. Joseph Sr. stands. He walks to the officer. He is shorter than the officer, but somehow fills more space. You will tell me how my son died, or I will call the president directly, and you will spend the rest of this war counting supplies in Alaska. The officer swallows. His hands are shaking. Sir, there was an equipment malfunction, a premature detonation of the aircraft payload. Lieutenant Kennedy and his co-pilot were killed instantly. Equipment malfunction. Joseph Sr. repeats the words slowly. You sent my son on a mission with faulty equipment. Sir, the equipment was tested and approved by Naval Command. And who approved it? Sir, I am only a messenger. I do not have that information. Joseph Sr. turns away. He walks to the window, looks out at the lawn where Joe Jr. used to play football with Jack. Get out. The officer leaves. Kathleen enters. She has been crying. Her father has not. She sits in the chair across from his desk. They do not speak for a long time. Finally, Kathleen breaks the silence. Was it worth it? Joseph Sr. does not turn from the window. What? Pushing him, making him compete with Jack, making him think he had to prove something. Was it worth his life? Joseph Sr. closes his eyes. That is not fair, Kathleen. Is it not? You groomed Joe to be president. You told him he was the chosen one, and when Jack got more attention for his PT boat, Joe volunteered for the most dangerous mission he could find. Not because it mattered, because he wanted you to notice him. Joseph Sr. turns around. His voice is cold. Your brother died a hero. He died trying to impress you. There is a difference. Joseph Sr. sits down at his desk. His hands are shaking. Get out, Kathleen. She stands. At the door, she stops. They told us it was equipment failure. That means someone knew the plane was unsafe. Someone sent him anyway. And now they are calling him a hero so nobody asks questions. She leaves. Joseph Sr. sits alone. He picks up the telephone, puts it down, picks it up again. He calls the Secretary of the Navy. August 12, 1944, Pentagon, Washington, D.C. Conference Room 3, 5 admirals sit around a table. Admiral Ernest King at the head. Captain Theodore Bright stands at the front, holding a folder. The preliminary investigation report. King's voice is flat. Captain Bright, walk us through it. Bright opens the folder. On August 4th at 0630 hours, B-17 aircraft designated Zoot Suit Black detonated approximately 8 miles from its target. The explosion occurred 8 minutes after the pilot armed the Torpex payload. Both crew members were killed instantly. No remains recovered. Based on witness testimony and technical analysis, the cause of detonation was electromagnetic interference with the arming circuit. The British radar station at Newdlight Wood was broadcasting at 42 megahertz. Our arming circuit operated at 45 megahertz. The frequency overlap created a resonance cascade that triggered premature detonation. One of the admirals, Captain Reynolds, raises his hand. Were the pilots informed of this risk? Bright pauses. No, sir. The electromagnetic interference calculations were classified. The pilots were told the system was tested and safe. Why were they not informed? Bright looks at King. King nods. Because, sir, if we informed pilots of every calculated risk, nobody would volunteer for any mission. We assessed the probability of failure at 38%. We deemed that acceptable for a high-value target. Reynolds leans forward. You sent men into a plane with a 40% chance of exploding and you did not tell them. That is correct, sir. The room goes silent. Finally, another admiral speaks. Captain Thomas. Gray hair. 3 rows of ribbons. What was the strategic value of the target? Bright hesitates. Sir, that information just became available. According to British intelligence, Allied ground forces captured the Mimoyex bunker on August 2nd, 2 days before our mission. The site was found to be 62% complete and non-operational. Construction had been abandoned in May due to German resource shortages. Thomas stares at him. Say that again. The target was non-operational at the time of the mission. King closes his eyes. Reynolds stands up. You are telling me that Kennedy died attacking an abandoned bunker? Technically, sir, the bunker was a legitimate military target at the time mission planning began in July. We did not know it had been abandoned until after the mission was completed, but British intelligence knew. On August 2nd, 2 days before Kennedy took off. Bright nods. Yes, sir. The information did not reach us until August 9th. Thomas's voice is shaking. So Kennedy died for nothing. Sir, Kennedy died executing a legitimate military operation based on the best intelligence available at the time. Do not give me that bureaucratic horseshit, Captain. 2 men are dead. The target was empty. And now we have to decide what to tell their families. King, what do we put in the official report? King opens his eyes. He looks around the table. He sees the same thing on every face. Guilt, anger, fear, equipment malfunction, accidental detonation, no fault assigned. We do not mention the electromagnetic interference calculations. We do not mention the British intelligence timeline. And we absolutely do not mention that the bunker was abandoned. Thomas shakes his head. So we lie. We protect the program. We protect the Navy. We protect the men who made decisions in good faith based on incomplete information. And what about protecting the men who died? King's voice goes cold. They are dead, Captain. We cannot protect them anymore, but we can make sure their deaths mean something. We can make sure they are remembered as heroes instead of victims of bureaucratic incompetence. Is that what they were? Heroes? King stands. This meeting is over. Captain Bright, draft the official report. Equipment malfunction, accidental. No one is to discuss the classified aspects of this investigation. That is an order. The admirals file out. King stays behind. He opens his desk drawer, takes out the bourbon bottle, pours a glass, drinks it, then picks up his pen, begins writing the report that will become the official truth. The words come easily. He has written reports like this before. September 3rd, 1944, Brooklyn, New York. Martha Willie sits on her couch holding her daughter. There is a knock at the door. She does not answer. It knocks again. Finally, she opens it. Malcolm Reed stands in the hallway. The engineer from Sperry. She has never met him. He is holding a folder. Mrs. Willie, my name is Malcolm Reed. I designed the radio control system for the aircraft your husband was flying. May I come in? Martha stares at him. Why are you here? Because I need to tell you the truth. And because the Navy will not. She lets him in. He sits in the chair across from her. He opens the folder. Inside are technical documents, test results, safety memos, all stamped classified. Mrs. Willie, your husband died because the Navy sent him up in an aircraft with a known defect. I warned them 3 months before the mission. I submitted 47 pages of documentation explaining why the arming circuit was unstable. They classified my report and proceeded anyway. Your husband was not told about the risks. He died believing the equipment was safe. Martha's voice is barely a whisper. Why are you telling me this? Because someone should know. Because the official report says equipment malfunction, accidental, no fault assigned. And that is a lie. This was not an accident. This was negligence. What do you want me to do with this information? Reed closes the folder. I do not know. Maybe nothing. The documents are classified. If you go public, they will deny everything. They will say, I am a disgruntled employee. They will bury you in legal proceedings. But I thought you should know that your husband did not die for nothing. He died because men with power wanted results and did not care about the cost. Martha looks at her sleeping daughter. Did the mission matter? Did it accomplish anything? Reed hesitates, then decides she deserves the truth. No. The target was already abandoned when your husband took off. The mission was pointless. Martha does not cry. She has no tears left. She stands, opens the door. Get out. Reed leaves the folder on the table. He walks to the door. Mrs. Willie, I am sorry. Being sorry does not bring him back. Reed leaves. Martha sits back down. She looks at the folder, then she picks it up, carries it to the kitchen, opens the trash, drops it in. Some truths are too heavy to carry. October 15th, 1944. The official report is released. Equipment malfunction, tragic accident. 2 heroes lost in service to their country. Joseph Kennedy Jr. receives a Navy Cross posthumously. Wilford Willie receives one too. Their names are added to memorial plaques. Their families receive folded flags. The truth stays classified for 50 years. When the files are finally released in 1994, nobody cares anymore. The war is history. Kennedy is history. The men who made the decisions are dead. And the official story has already become the only story anyone remembers. But at RAF Furs Field, someone writes it on the latrine wall in pencil. Joe Kennedy died for nothing. By morning, it is scrubbed away. But everyone has already seen it. November 8th, 1960, Boston, Massachusetts. John Fitzgerald Kennedy has just been elected President of the United States. The youngest man ever elected. 43 years old, Catholic, war hero. The first Kennedy to reach the White House, but not the Kennedy who was supposed to be here. In Hyannisport, Joseph Kennedy Sr. sits in his study watching the television. He is 72 years old, 16 years since Joe died. His face shows nothing as the networks call it for Jack. The phone rings. Congratulations pour in through the closed door. He does not answer. He sits in the dark. The door opens. Rose enters. She sits across from him. They have not talked about Joe in years. Not really. You must be proud. Joseph does not look away from the screen. This was supposed to be Joe, but it is Jack. And Jack won. Joseph finally turns. Do you ever wonder if it was worth it? Pushing them, making them compete. Joe died trying to prove he was better than Jack. And now Jack is president because Joe is not here to take it from him. Rose stands, walks to the door, stops. You cannot blame yourself for what happened to Joe. Cannot I? I taught him second place was failure. And when Jack got attention for that PT boat, Joe went looking for a bigger stage. I put him in that position. Joe made his own choices. Did he? Rose leaves. Joseph sits alone. On screen, Jack is giving his victory speech, talking about a new generation, about sacrifice, about his brother Joe, the war hero. Joseph turns off the television. He opens his desk drawer. Inside is a folder, locked there for 6 years. He received it in 1954. Declassified investigation files. He read them once. He has never shown anyone. He opens it now. Page 1. Equipment malfunction. That is the official line. Page 2. Electromagnetic interference risk assessment. Probability of premature detonation, 38%. Page 3. Recommended action, delay mission pending further testing. Status, ignored. Page 10. British intelligence report dated August 2, 1944. Subject, Mimoyek's bunker. Status, captured by Allied ground forces. Construction abandoned May 1944. V3 weapon system 62% complete. Incapable of firing. 0 operational threat. Joe died attacking an empty building. Joseph's hands start shaking. He turns pages. More memos. More warnings. 47 pages of documentation, all ignored, all classified, all buried. He reaches the last page. An internal Navy memo dated August 15, 1944. Subject, public relations strategy. Recommendation, emphasize heroism, minimize technical details. Classification level, top secret. They knew. They always knew. Joseph closes the folder. His hands will not stop shaking. He grips the desk edge. His knuckles turn white. Then something breaks inside. Silent tears run down his face. He has not cried since the telegram arrived in 1944. But now he knows. Joe died for nothing. And Joseph made Joe feel he had no choice. The folder slips from his hands. Pages scatter across the floor. He does not pick them up. He sits there, crying. While outside, people celebrate Jack's victory. November 22, 1963, Dallas, Texas. President Kennedy is dead, shot. The nation mourns. At Arlington Cemetery, they bury him with military honors. Millions watch on television. At the graveside, the eulogies mention Joe Jr., the war hero, the older brother who inspired Jack to serve. Nobody mentions Operation Aphrodite. Nobody mentions the faulty equipment. Nobody mentions the abandoned bunker. The lie has become history. In Hyannisport, Joseph Kennedy Sr. watches the funeral. He suffered a stroke 2 years ago. He cannot speak, cannot walk, but he understands. Both his sons are dead now. Joe killed by incompetence, Jack killed by an assassin, and the world remembers them as heroes. Rose sits beside him, holds his hand. She does not speak. There is nothing left to say. On screen, they lower Jack's coffin into the ground. 20 yards away is another marker, Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr., Lieutenant, killed in action, Navy Cross. 2 graves, 2 lies, 1 family destroyed by the gap between myth and truth. June 5th, 1968, Los Angeles. Robert Kennedy is dead, shot in a hotel kitchen. The 3rd Kennedy brother, the last hope of a shattered dynasty. Joseph Sr. dies 7 months later. He never speaks again after his stroke. But in his final months, nurses report he cries in his sleep. They do not know why. Rose knows, but she never tells. December 7th, 1987, Arlington National Cemetery. An old man stands at a grave, Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr., Lieutenant, United States Naval Reserve, killed in action August 12, 1944. Navy Cross. The man is Malcolm Reed, 73 years old, the engineer who designed the Aphrodite system. He comes here every year, has done since 1945. He places white roses on the grave. He does not pray. He stopped praying long ago. He just stands there. A voice behind him. Mr. Reed. He turns. A woman, mid-40s. She looks like photographs he has seen. This is Willie's daughter, Sarah, the baby who never met her father. My mother told me you visited her in 1944. You brought classified documents about my father's death. Reed nods. She threw them away. She kept them. Hidden for 43 years. I found them after she died last year. Sarah pulls a folder from her bag. The documents, safety reports, warnings, everything. I have been trying to decide what to do with them. Release them? Would it even matter now? The war ended decades ago. Everyone who made those decisions is dead. Reed looks at the grave, then back at Sarah. What do you want it to matter for? Sarah's voice catches. My daughter is with me. She is in the car. She is 16. Last week she asked about her grandfather, what he was like, what he did. I told her he was a hero, that he died saving lives, that he volunteered because it was important. And she looked at me with these bright eyes and said she wanted to be like him. Sarah pauses. If I tell her the truth, I take that away. I tell her he died for nothing, that heroism is just a story we tell to make tragedy bearable. I do not know if I can do that. Reed closes his eyes. Your father was 27 years old. He had a 3-month-old daughter. He flew that mission because he thought it mattered. It did not matter. The target was empty. The equipment was unsafe. He was never told either of those things. That is the truth. Sarah stares at the folder in her hands. But here is the other truth. Reed continues. If you tell your daughter that story, you do not just take away his heroism, you take away hers. Her desire to serve, to sacrifice, to be brave. Is that what you want? I do not know what I want. I just want it to be fair. He deserved better than this. He deserved the truth. But the truth died with him. What is left is the story. And the story matters to people, to your daughter, to everyone who believes sacrifice means something. Sarah walks to a trash bin near the entrance, stands there, the folder in her hands. She looks back at Reed. He watches her. She puts the folder back in her bag, walks back. I am not ready to burn it, but I am not ready to release it either. Reed nods. He understands. Movement near the parking lot. A teenage girl gets out of a car. Sarah's daughter. She walks toward them. Dark hair. Her grandfather's eyes. She carries flowers. Mom, is this him? Is this Grandpa Wilford's grave? Sarah's voice breaks. Yes, sweetie. This is him. The girl kneels, places the flowers, touches the stone. Her fingers trace the engraved letters. She looks up at Reed. Did you know him? Reed's throat tightens. No, but I knew men like him. Brave men. Good men. The girl stands, reads the inscription aloud. Wilford John Willie, Lieutenant. died in service to his country. She turns to her mother. You said he volunteered for a dangerous mission, that he saved lives. Sarah looks at Reed. Reed looks at the grave, then at the girl, then back at Sarah. He gives the smallest nod. Yes, Sarah says quietly. He saved lives. He was a hero. The girl smiles. I want to be like him someday, brave enough to give everything for something that matters. Sarah closes her eyes. Reed places his hand on her shoulder just for a moment. Then he steps back. He places his own flowers on Kennedy's grave, then on Willie's grave, white roses on both. Sarah and her daughter walk back to their car. Reed watches them go. Behind him, tourists photograph the Kennedy Memorial. A father points it out to his son. That is Joe Kennedy, JFK's brother. He died a hero in World War II. The son asks what he did. The father says he flew a secret mission. He saved American lives. It is not true, but it is what people believe. Reed walks away from the graves. His footsteps echo on the stone path. Around him, thousands of white markers stretch in perfect rows. Thousands of stories, most of them true, some of them not, all of them sacred, because that is what the living do. They turn the dead into heroes, even when the dead were just men who made choices in impossible circumstances created by other men who made worse choices. Reed reaches the cemetery gates. He stops, looks back one last time. 2 graves among thousands, 2 men who died believing they mattered. Maybe they did. Not in the way the official reports claimed, not in the way the history books recorded, but to a 16-year-old girl who wants to be brave, to a mother who needs her father to have died for something. Maybe that is enough. Reed walks through the gates. The lie continues. The truth stays buried. And somewhere between those two things, memory becomes myth, myth becomes history, and history becomes the only thing that survives.